Welcome to the shortwave radio channel, and I wanted to add a little more to the MLA 30. I have regular questions on this antenna, and of course, I've been using mine for more than 2 years now. It's been actually spent 2 winters outside, and it's still the same one up and running. So, a lot of you are asking me, is this worth it or not? And wanted to kind of refresh the video about it. So what's the MLA 30? It's a inexpensive magnetic loop antenna that is amplified. A lot of people that buy U-loops or buy passive loops have the impression that this antenna is noisy when they plug it in because it's an amplified antenna. But in reality, it's noisy. What people perceive as being noisy is that, of course, when you amplify signals, you amplify noise, but it's the signal to noise ratio that's important, not the amplification of that noise. And people have the impression that it's not worth it, it's too noisy. It's actually very, very quiet as an antenna. The amplifier in here is very, very low noise. So don't be fooled by the fact that your radio might seem to get more interference, actually, or more noise. It's actually getting a lot more signal also. And that's what's important, because that's what makes the difference between receiving a signal or not, is the signal to noise ratio, not necessarily the base noise that you might perceive. And people have the impression U-loop is better because of that. Well, it's because it's not amplified. The U-loop is actually less sensitive than an MLA 30. I'm not saying that it's not a good antenna or anything. It's a passive loop, so it is not amplified, and so it is less sensitive. You have the impression you have less noise. It's just an impression for the most part. As for the MLA 30, it's still around 35, 40-ish US dollars. Don't pay more than that. Lots of places are really selling this at a high price, and it's way too expensive sometimes. I've seen it higher than $100 sometimes. Now, it's not a miracle antenna. I always say it. If you live in an environment where noise is rather low and you have 50 feet or 100 feet of wire outdoor, that will be better than this loop, as long as you have low noise. If you have a lot of noise, that's where this antenna beats a wire, and this is my experience here. I had a 80 feet-ish sloper antenna, which is kind of a long wire antenna, or wire antenna, and it was very, very noisy. The MLA 30 actually gives me a lot more signals. The signal to noise ratio, like I was saying, is so much better. So in a noisy environment, this antenna will be better. In apartment dwellers, stuff like that, this is probably your best bet. Once again, it has to be positioned really well, because it can still get noise from your environment, and location is important. Also, it's very directional, so positioning it so that you have the least amount of noise possible is important. This antenna is also powered, and of course you don't have a power supply with it. What you have is the cable to plug it to some power supply. It has a USB port or to connect. So what you need is a power supply to give the 5 volts. If you use a SDR, like the SDR Play devices, for example, they can actually power the antenna themselves. You don't need a power supply and the extra bias T box that comes with it. But if you do use a power supply and it's noisy, make sure that you test out a few different power supplies, because that can make a difference also in the amount of noise that is generated depending on the power supply you use. And for the rest, like I said, it's not a miracle antenna. It's not going to replace, especially in lower noise environments, it's not going to replace really good antennas and dipoles and stuff like that. This is not what it is. It is not a miracle antenna better than anything else. It's a miracle antenna in very high noise environments, because part of that noise will be gone. So that's pretty much the update. I'm very happy still with mine. Been there, 2 years ish, if not more. 2 winters. It might look flimsy. Some people look at the loop and say, oh, well, I'm going to make that, thicker. I'm going to change it. You know what? It doesn't matter. It is perfect the way it is. You don't really need to change anything, honestly. The way it's built and stock is fine. So that's pretty much the update I wanted to actually give out, and hope that in your situation it might help out. Once again, for high noise environment, this is a good antenna. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.